Good morning. How are you?
Same to you, and thanks for having me on again.
Absolutely. Coach, a very interesting comment by you in the postgame that we were talking about leading up to the segment is what you said about Trey Morgan. Your offense, your lineup, very gifted. You in the postgame said that Morgan is the best natural hitter that you've ever coached, and that he's just going to get to the show and going to collect hits. What out of the lineup of so gifted swingers do you see that stands out from Trey Morgan?
Yeah, I mean, they all have a different skill set just as far as pure bat to ball, where you can line up the barrel and hit the ball where people are not standing. Is pretty special talent. I liken him kind of to Tony Gwynn. At the college level, that's about as close a comparison as I can come up with. And tremendous hand-eye coordination, tremendous strike zone discipline. I mean, he can get to any fastball. He has adjustability to off-speed. Doesn't swing at balls. Kind of total package. We made one small adjustment in the fall. He's taken it and run with it. And he only has a couple extra base hits right now, but all these balls are coming off his bat really hot. And proud of him and love having him as table setter. And a guy I also like seeing coming up with runners on base. So good start for Trey.
What adjustments have you seen him make?
You know, he's gotten a little bit stronger. And so we just kind of gotten him into the ground a little bit more and hitting with his legs as opposed to just kind of flipping the bat out there. And the lot harder contact. I think he's allowing himself to let the ball travel a little bit more. And I think the more you go, or the more we go, the more power you'll see with Trey as he moves forward.
Coach, through the first part of the season, everybody's looked at your lineup and said, man, look at the depth, look at the options. What have you learned about your offense through the first part of the season?
You know, I don't know if it's something I didn't know, but just like kind of seeing it, I think it's just going to be a hard team to get through, more than one time. I mean, we had a couple games this weekend where the first time through the order, like we were hitting rockets, but just right at people and, had a couple zeros in a row or the first 3 innings of zeros. And then by midway through that second time through, the law of averages kind of start to catch up and balls start finding gaps. And, the pitcher gets a little timid, or we've seen the guy the second time around, and guys are making really good adjustments. And just that second and third time through is very difficult for any pitcher. And so I've been very pleased to see that so far, and I expect that will continue.
41-3 was the scoring output this weekend in combination as LSU outscored Towson and Southern 41-3. So the offense was on fire. What about defensively, Coach, from your group? I know that last week was the Louisiana Tech game was a game that you like to forget on that side of the ball, but what have you seen from your defenses through the first 8 games of the season as you guys continue to move forward?
Yeah, I mean, that was a bad game. I think that's on record with you guys. That's one of the worst games I've ever seen defensively. I did think it was an anomaly. I really believe that. I think we're a work in progress there. We've asked a couple guys to play some different positions. But I think it's better. I thought we were fine this weekend. We made one error yesterday that it's one of those that just was just a bad play that 2 very good players will get cleaned up by my communication thing. Other than that, much cleaner. I think we had 1 error in the infield in the first game. We had no errors in the second game. I think we only had 1 on Friday night. So moving in a good direction there, and we'll keep working. I mean, that's what you do when you have areas of your team that you need to fix. You just keep pounding rocks and make sure that we improve in that area, and I expect that we will.
Coach, now that you're a little bit more removed from the Louisiana Tech game, is it safe to blame the turf and the cold weather? It's okay. You can be honest here. You're safe.
Yeah, I will not do that. Yeah, you guys get to know me. I will never give our players an out on those kinds of
Love
things.
that.
So, hey, you played on turf, Coach. That's tough. Hey, get those little front spins, little quick hops. And what their fault? What their fault?
Yeah, for me, it's like, what are we talking about here? I mean, that should help the infielder. But
you're such a coach.
Your pitching coach, I think through the first 8 games has been a refreshing point to look at. I don't think that from the fan base's standpoint, people knew some of the names that we were watching during the fall or hearing about during the fall, but to see them now working here in the early part of winter and going into the spring is very positive. What have you made of that group?
Yeah, very pleased. Not maybe as surprised as the outsider as we were kind of watching it happen. I mean, offense gets a lot of credit, and rightfully so, but these pitchers more than held their own, as they were going through this deal and in the fall and in the early spring. So really like, obviously, Blake Money pitched on Friday. I thought Ty Floyd was very good yesterday. I thought he was better than he was the week before. And I think the volume of arms coming out of the pen is our strength, where it's just like you don't kind of know who's coming. And as an opposing coach, sometimes that's tough to deal with. And a lot of guys right now are making a positive contribution. Like if you look on our stat line, we've used a ton of guys. I mean, we brought in a freshman yesterday in the ninth inning, Sam Tutton, who was 90 to 93, was a good breaking ball and punched out too. And people are like, who is this guy? It's like, well, I mean, these guys are itching for the ball. There's only so many to get. And that's a good sign for us now and a really, really good sign for us moving forward in future years as well.
What do you specifically look for on a Friday night guy and whatever it is? It feels like Blake Money has that, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I think the trait of the Friday starter and the closer more than any other pitchers on your staff is the makeup has to be there. And, I don't know anything that happened last year. I just know what I know about Blake and his response to some failure last year and how he handled that shows a lot of maturity. And his preparation right now is elite. I mean, the people like seeing the dominance on Friday night, but if you watch this guy from the time we showed up in August, and then you watch him between start one and start two and the work that he puts in and how detailed he is with that, you'd start to go like, okay, we know he's got the talent, but you're really starting to connect the dots. You know what I mean? Yeah. Of why he's being successful.
Jay Johnson, LSU head baseball coach, joining us here. The Tigers are 7-1 on the season. They travel to Houston this weekend before a midweek game versus Blake Dean and UNO. How do you manage this week with such a huge weekend on the horizon and through preparation for the guys?
Well, I mean, to start with Wednesday, I mean, you mentioned Blake Dean. UNO is 5-1. They won 2 out of 3 against Kansas this weekend. We saw them in the fall. They have some good players. So we're all in on Wednesday. I'm trying to really build a mindset with the team of it's a 56-game playoff, and Wednesday is the next playoff game. Fortunately for us, the depth of the pitching staff is one of the strengths, and so you don't have to hold or save anybody, kind of thing. Like there's more guys that can get the job done. So we're going to attack Wednesday like it's the only game on the schedule, and then we'll look up. We feel like pretty good about where we're at with Friday with Blake, and so that kind of shortens that game and then lets everybody regroup for Saturday and Sunday. So like where we're at, we got our first, plane trip, and so there's some things that come along with that. It's a tournament environment, so you're out of your routine a little bit. So we'll have to get the players in the right frame of mind to handle those things and go out and what I expect to be a great weekend of college baseball. Any
update on Javen Coleman?
Not yet. He's getting evaluated a little bit more today, and should know some more here in the next couple days.
Coach, obviously it was Dylan Cruz's birthday over the weekend. Were you surprised at all by his? I mean, obviously he's might be the first overall pick when his time comes. But is there anything to having a birthday weekend and playing on your birthday? Because I feel like some baseball guys always either hit a tank or just have a great game, and Dylan Cruz obviously did both throughout the weekend.
You got to play well on your birthday, man. That's like a thing. My birthday was in April, and I remember always collecting a couple hits on that day. So it's just a thing. I don't know what it is, but
it's the baseball gods.
But I don't think that dude needs his birthday to play good. I think he plays good about 380 a year. So very happy with his start, showing a lot of maturity in his at-bats, and the talent speaks for itself.
You mentioned the depth, Coach, and the depth is something that has jumped out. I mean, even like a freshman like Josh Pearson, looking at him for the first time of the weekend and watching the way he could track and rake, and the depth that you have here from the youngsters. You mentioned the pitchers and the lineup. How not tough is that to manage, but the decisions that go into putting the best 9 out there every day, I'd imagine, is a pretty tough challenge.
Yeah, it is for sure. I think right now, and we're only 8 games into the season, but big compliments to the players of everybody being bought into the sense of team. I do think we're kind of moving towards a group of guys that look like they're going to play for a little bit, and then you got guys on the peripheral right there, like Josh, like no problem writing that guy's name in the lineup. He's going to rake, and he's going to be a great hitter here at LSU. I think I'm the one guy in the program that always want the players to focus on the now, but I can kind of look at the future a little bit too. And you're talking about a guy that's going to be right in the thick of it, as the year moves on this year and obviously the next couple of years. And you run a bat like that off the bench, he's, whipping balls, through the infield, coming off the bat at 105 miles an hour. You're going like, man, I want to find more bats for this guy. So been a great team guy, along with, a couple other guys that are plenty capable of starting, and kind of that, I would call it that 10 through 14 guys are doing a good job of staying engaged. They're improving while maybe they're not at the forefront. They'll be ready when their number's called upon.
7-1 on the season up to this point. UNO and Blake Dean come into the box on Wednesday night. First pitch is scheduled for 6:30. It'll be in the SEC Network Plus, and of course, all over where you can catch it locally. Thank you as always, Coach. Best of luck for the week ahead, and we'll see you in Houston.
All right, guys. Sounds good.
Yes, sir. There he is, Jay Johnson, checking in this morning